Hello, hello. I will just need my voice chat out because it's using the wrong settings. Bear with me a second.
Sure. Hello, hello. I've also turned up my
All right.
stream.
Maybe I'm not.
Oh, can you hear me? Okay,
I
cool.
can hear you, surprisingly enough.
Nice. Yeah, if one of you
I
wants to
know.
host, one of you wants to host the game, or I can host the game. It doesn't really matter.
I have the game hosted.
Okay.
So
I don't think you need to host. I think if you just load up the save in single player,
well,
that gives you all the information you need, right?
That's true,
yeah,
but
fair.
it's
I mean that is what I've done. When I say I've hosted the game, I've taken the
okay.
save that you posted and just loaded it.
I can just load
Yeah.
the single player game as well. I think I actually don't have the save
I
on this computer. So let me
have a
pull it
black
up.
screen here. What's going on?
We should post and we should spam that it's on the Mohawk Games channel.
Yeah, I'll post a link in just a second in the community chat. I'm just trying to figure out my Discord is showing a black screen, and then when I
I
go
don't
into
see
the
your
game,
stream yet either. So
yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna stream it on Discord. I'm just gonna stream it on the stream. But
yeah, I don't see it on the stream yet, but it's possible you haven't started it yet. So.
no, I haven't. I haven't.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to figure out why whenever I go into World World, I've got a black screen on the Discord overlay.
No worries.
It's annoying.
Hey, want to see it? Here's something funny, guys. This is actually super fun to me because I also have been playing some practice matches, right? So I'm
Yes.
loading in this save and I'm going through my Hall of Fame. So I just did multiplayer games, sort by date. The last 3 games I've played were all by Babylon, and all 3 of them were defeats.
Oof.
So
Times.
apparently, even my practice sessions weren't going well, but I decided to run with them anyway.
Babylon is tough because like they're so order constrained at the start that is just brutal, and early orders makes a huge difference in the snowball.
It really does. It really does.
Hmm.
Yeah, even like
Specified
riders,
file
man.
was invalid.
Those 2 extra orders is simple, but man, do they come in handy.
I'm getting failed to load save. Specified file is either invalid or start with locked save option. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
if you open up the save file and remove the locked save, in fact, I can just post you a version that's been unlocked. Hang on
Okay.
one second.
Okay, thank you. I guess Cyan had locked save on. Okay. So
Yeah, I don't know, mind you, I don't know why you guys shouldn't be able to load it. Would it make sense why I can't load it? But yeah, anyway, it's posted in the chat.
okay.
The stream should be up now on Starting Soon. Hopefully you will see
Cool.
that if you log on. Let me post a link to it.
Nice, nice, nice. Saves. Tournament. Just load the raw XML. Makes all very happy. So, all right, now I'm loading up as well. All right, I'm in.
I'm in. Yeah, I'm good.
Cool.
Oops, now I'm posting the save file with the link. You copy that.
All right. Yeah, I don't think I realized quite how far ahead I was until
Hang
after.
on a minute. Stop your chittering. Let's actually go live. Right, let me go live. Okay, and do that on OBS. Yes. Good evening, afternoon, morning, everyone. Welcome to a post-game chat for the alcaras v Siontific match in the Old World Community Tournament. We had a couple of parts. We were left with an ongoing game, but in the meantime, Siontific has conceded, so the game is done, and we're going to talk about it. I'm joined by alcaras and Siontific. Hello, fellas.
Hello, hello.
Hello, old world.
Glad to have you both on board. So yes, congratulations, alcaras, and commiserations, Siontific. What a game! It was. Yeah. I mean, tell me how you feel about it.
Well, I mean, I'm glad Alcaraz wins. He played a very, very strong game. It's disappointing. Looking at the metrics, it's a bit of a bummer how kind of, frankly, bad of a game I played because, like, even I picked Babylon. They have that science lead. I was a scholar, so I could go where I wanted in the tech tree. I chose, whether it was a good idea or not, I chose to try and rob Alcaraz of Zoroastrianism to maybe throw off his game. And the thinking behind that is when you look at most of the wins, if not all of the wins from the players, a handful of players who have been running Carthage in every match, um, every single one of them gets Zoro. So that was part of my thinking, even when I was trying to steal it from Marauder in the previous game, but I got lucky from an event that was like, if I can do certain things, like if their entire gameplay is rooted around like certain events or certain science boosts or triggers that they're getting from things very consistently, my thinking going in was, excuse me, what ways can I disrupt that pattern that they're kind of getting used to of relying on? So that's one of the reasons why I decided to go Zoro early. But then I look at these stats, science production were even the entire time until like my second scholar dies. Military production, and this is no surprise because you have the Carthage thing saying there. So I'm happy I kept up with that, but like at no point until very recently, which is of course where I started to see the writing on the wall, was I ever really ahead. I think I did have an opportunity when I had the Zealot in the mid game, or well, I guess we're kind of in the mid game now, but earlier around turn 50-ish, to maybe strike a blow before he started putting forts up. He only had like one or maybe two onagers. Neither of them was in a fort yet. I had a Zealot. He had a couple of his elephants. Maybe I could have enlisted. So I kind of went heavy into that thinking. And then my Zealot died. So I had some dynasty troubles in the game too that kind of kept putting me in different directions. And I didn't really have a solid plan. And yeah, it was a bummer. I kind of kept pivoting in a couple of different directions and then found myself on turn 74 with almost zero economy. Very upsetting.
Yes, definitely a very noticeable difference in the stats looking at the economy. Carthage's economy is humming along very nicely, yes, whereas Babylon struggled a little bit more on that front. How did you feel the game went out, Wes?
It was pretty smooth. I mean, I think I got really lucky with some of my inheritance because I went schemer into judge, and then I have a zealot lined up for when I want to break out.
Yeah.
And my judge is what 66, so and I have a 31-year-old zealot just chilling out and waiting to go next. So like basically, like think schemer judge zealot is ideal for duels. Like get a good start, then build up in the mid game, and then go attack with a zealot. Yeah, as Scion, I was a little surprised, left me mostly alone early. I didn't have early pressure. I was able to be a little bit greedy, squeeze out an extra worker here or there, and then be very measured in kind of my advance. Scion definitely got very unlucky with early deaths. There were a bunch of leaders that died in your 40s and 50s, which is rough.
Yeah. For context, I had 5 leaders in the time that Alcaris had just the 2, and yeah, that mid-game judge looks like it came quite in handy here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my first leader died at 56, and now my second leader is at 66 and still going without doomed. So, and also just an insane leader: 9 wisdom, 9 discipline, 2
Yeah.
courage, 2 charisma. So, and a judge, of course, which let me. I just got the turn that you conceded here. I just got turreted elephants upgraded, and a citadel, and I just got orthodoxy as well. So I don't have the civics to enact it, but like next turn I should be able to. And then I just finished building all my shrines everywhere, or was it, I had one more city, and then I was going to swap to monotheism, and then I already have divine rule running. So we're probably looking at 60 orders in a couple turns with orthodoxy up. So I was going to print out some turreted elephants and then go see what I could do.
yeah, it's definitely a very smooth game, and as you quite rightly point out, the leader changes you were quite lucky with, and that does make a huge difference to the game. So yeah, you were basically left to develop unmolested, and everyone knows, or it's common knowledge, I think, that yeah, it's your favourite thing to do. So yeah. Yeah, so Scientific, did you go into this game thinking you were going to try and rush Alcaraz? You talked a little bit about obviously developing up to get Zoroastrianism and throwing them off that way, but was it more of a plan to rush in, or were you planning on that mid game push, but then you just didn't quite work out with the leader changes?
Mostly, I wanted to have early aggression on the table, but I didn't. I decided I didn't want to rely on it too completely because, I'll be honest, I kind of wanted to, um, go toe to toe with Alkers a little bit, not really rely on the fact like because we played, he and I have played a bunch of games before, and I tend to typically just try to kill him in the first 60 turns, um, and can be successful. But I kind of was like, well, yeah, I have a strong eco game too. I have a strong late game. When we played that community FFA, I think there were only two. I think actually with the three of us in the 5-player game, it's like all three of us had something like 400 or 500 science per turn, while the other players had 200 science per turn. So it's like, it's not that I don't know the end game. So I was less really concerned with getting him out of the game too early. I did want to leave it on the table, and in hindsight, I kind of am thinking to myself, man, yeah, I should have expanded towards the center of the map, just kept building slingers, beeline composite, and sent like a dozen archers at him right away. And an archer rush is always tricky to deal with, especially if you get the free ballista, because his Gacetas and Peltasts and shit would have been shredded. So certainly that would have been tricky to deal with if that was like a turn 30, turn 40 timing. And that was an option. But I don't know, for some reason my mentality was like, I know, I want to see, and I succeeded in some of these goals. I wanted to match his strength level, right? I wanted to match his science level. I wanted to match his expansion rate. We both hit full city expansion at the same time. I obviously got the center, so there was a little bit going into this where I kind of was a little intentionally giving Alcaraz the room to breathe, because I was like, no, let's have a real game here, and let's put his strength against my strength, and see where it goes. But unfortunately, two things went wrong. A couple of things went wrong. The dynasty was one that we already talked about. I just generally didn't play a strong eco game in general. Like, if you look at the capital, Alcaraz has all his farms laid out. I'm not sure when all of those came online, but it turns 74 and I still don't have farms around these like lush, pasture buffed river-based tiles, and like there's no excuse for that. All honesty, there's just no excuse. Those should have been up ages ago. Kind of like my old rant about the Flatland Quarry situation. It's a similar deal here. Like, that's amazing. Those are amazing tiles. Why are they not improved by now? But part of the answer to that is orders, like Alcaraz was saying earlier when we were talking about Babylon. They're a little order stifled, but also the schemer opening is very strong. But more importantly, I think the terrain of this map really messed with me in a way that I wasn't expecting. I did a couple of generations of this map script, and pretty much every generation I practice on, both with another player and privately, were significantly flatter than this overall. Of course, sometimes you start in a mountain, or sometimes there's hills in the center, but this was like everything and forests in between, and that, I think, highlights the order issue. When you get riders, when you get statesmen, and you're starting as schemers, so you have an easy extra 10 plus orders per turn if you want it. That translates, because if you look at trying to move a worker across these mountain tiles, these hill tiles rather, like, you're so slowed down. So in order for me to move around and get anything done, it was taking me a couple of turns at a time, whereas I'm sure Alcaraz, with all of his orders and ability to move around, his development just started getting online so much quicker than mine. And that was something that I don't think, like, high level context, when I was going in this, not even going into this, but as I started looking at the map, I don't think I had evaluated properly just how dramatic his order advantage would be, which I knew it would be, but how much it would actually complement the harsher terrain of the region actively working against me and putting me behind in development. And so I kind of ended up in the mid game, more shocked by just how drastic the difference in our economies were. Because I'm pretty sure. Hold on, let me check here. Yeah, we even have a similar number of workers. We even have a singular number of workers. He has 22 to my 18.
So it's like that, but the improvement difference is Alcaraz has double the improvement.
Yeah, so that to me tells me it's orders, right? So I mean, because I was clearing, but I think we cleared at a similar pace too. Like, yes, I took the center of the map, and yes, I ended up staging towards an inevitable attack that never ended up happening. But like, there's no way that I can calculate that difference other than the fact that there's just order discrepancy. If we look at the order track, he's got 600 more orders in the game than I do. So like that was just it just spiraled, man. It just started early with like the extra 2 from the riders, a handful. I think he bought 60 or 80 from schemers. So
80.
even then, that's not a lot. Some people can end the early game with like 100 or 200 orders, but like every little bit helps when you're dealing with this harsh, rugged terrain that takes forever to get a worker from one city to the next, or to start a new improvement. Like there's forests everywhere, so like you have to burn 3 orders just to put something down. It really spiraled out of control. It was a bummer. And then eventually, by the time I got Portcullis, which was the last 20 turns or so, I started putting. I was really happy with Portcullis because I knew he'd have a strong science game. I ended up getting something like 20 or 30 science from his capital, and his capital now is actually pretty strong. But at the time, mine's 52, his is 80, right? So when I got like a 20 turn payout from that, I was pretty pleased with arriving at that, because I was like, all right, well, that's going to be a decent equalizer. But it was right around that time that I realized, oh shit, he's spamming mills everywhere. So it's like I was behind him from hydraulics by only a couple of turns. But then the issue became was that my economy wasn't in a place where, spamming mills everywhere. First of all, I couldn't even afford to do it, which is just awful. But second of all, it wouldn't have even changed much anyway. So that's when I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I was just like, oh man, fuck, I'm screwed.
Yeah, so I mean, as you say, big order difference. You can see that in the graph. I guess one additional point there is that, of course, Carthage can just hire their mercenaries, so they don't actually have to move their military around quite as much, so they get a bit of an advantage there.
Yeah.
As you say, in that if you look at the territory owned graph, Carthage was slightly ahead for the first half of the game, but yeah, you were definitely keeping pace with them, and then obviously you claimed the center cities and got ahead there. But and yeah, absolutely very impressive keeping up with the military score as well. You were neck for neck in military score almost all game. So yeah, how many mercenaries did you end up hiring? It wasn't a huge number, was it, Alcaras?
I think it's 4, right? Like
4?
it's just 4.
Yeah.
I mean, there
Not
weren't
too many.
There weren't too
It was
many. I mean, I
4.
tried to be pretty judicious this game, both in schemer orders and mercenary hires. Like I'd rather have 4 6 strength ones than like 8 3 strength ones. So yeah, I mean, I could have hired some for the middle and tried to move them back, but at that point, I didn't really see it. I also had an awkward tribal invasion coming in, and they were pretty expensive. Like 800, 900,000 gold mercenary at that point is just not worth it. I think I'd rather use the money for something else. Wonders specifically is always good, or like just being able to boost your econ. I think I did buy quite a bit of stone to get some of those mills because I didn't have everything up and running, but I had the insane money income that I had all game. The money graph is just hilarious / terrifying. Like it's just 26,000 gold difference. Like it's just insane there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The total money, 29,000 to 3,000.
So that obviously gives me a little bit of buffer.
Wild.
And Sion didn't go traders, interestingly, which was a bit of surprise. I don't quite understand your choice of artisans. I'd be curious to learn more what you were thinking there. There's a really nice trader site, at least in the north, and of course, Fair and Elder Shopkeeper are amazing.
I like artisans, and it was I like to make a lot of decisions that play against type. Also, I hadn't spotted the traders site by the artisans was my second city, so it was sages and artisans. And so at that point, I believe artisans was my second city. So at that point, I'm not. There's no way in hell I'm not bringing in sentinel slingers.
I think Hunter was your second, and because you found it on your free site, if I remember from watching the cast last night. Artisans was
well. Either way, I hadn't seen the. I know by the time I settled, I don't think I saw the pearls, the stuff yet.
That's
so fair. And so basically, granted, all you really need is one solid location for traders to fully pop off, which we all know.
Yeah. I got super lucky that my trader site also became an autonomous city, so it's giving me 46 science by itself. So
wow, I hadn't quite took that. That's very nice. Yeah, 46 science, but also 869 money income. I mean, quite a lot of that is council, admittedly, but even so.
No, I mean, I also tried to like build improvements there for the autonomous unit to like keep upgrading. So you'll see it built all the gardeners for me.
Yes. Now this is another point. I don't have you managed to catch up with the cast at all, Scientific? Because
Just to
there is
highlight
one.
how bad. Sorry to interrupt. Just to highlight how bad my eco game was here. I got land consolidation on turn 33, and if we look at Eridu, I apparently didn't even notice and never
Yes,
developed
this.
these lavender. Isn't that wild?
That is
For all the shit
exactly
that
the point. Exactly the point I was about to raise. It was noted quite a lot. You seem to have some lavender blindness there. Yeah, because you got land consolidation quite early, like 12 turns before Alquest. But he got those lavender groves up, and it's like, come on,
I'm gonna blame
Scientific,
it on
surely you
something.
must see them soon. What's going on, man?
I'm gonna blame it on something that I've yelled about before while streaming, but in a different context. I'm blaming it on the city tab because from the perspective at the angle that I'm actually looking at Eridu, yes, okay. Now that we're talking about it, I can see the lavender there, but like it's like obscuring the majority of those resources. So like when I'm down here by my capital Ishnu and in Ishnuma and like moving workers or whatever, if I look up there, it's like I can't even see those lavender from this perspective. I have to like zoom in to see it. So that could just be a resolution thing on my end. But I am just noticing that now in this game that wow, I went 40 turns without ever improving 2 extra groves. So, man, not my best game, I'll admit.
Well, it's certainly easy to make mistakes in network games, but
Sure.
I mean, I'm curious. Do you have action suggestions turned off? Presumably, they should have been pinging up for workers if they were on, but maybe you have them turned off.
I do actually have them turned off. And I know, to that complaint, I know some players like Nazar or whomever, they have the filter on that shows all that stuff. But even though it does lead to me missing certain things, like, oh, a horse that was there the entire time, and I didn't think I had access to horses or whatever. I can't play with clutter, man. I like my map as clear and crisp as possible. And yeah, sometimes it means I miss things. It's unfortunate, and I definitely agree and think that we've all talked about this. I think in network play, it can become so much easier to become tunnel visioned, fixated on something, and it kind of blinds you to any other possible thing that should be calling your attention to. And that apparently that happened with those lavender. I'm just literally right now in this cast just noticing that those things were even there. So that's incredible. But like
Well,
the other groves, like the wine and stuff by the Capitol, I approved. I'm pretty sure I approved
oh
every
yeah,
other grove.
you did,
In that part,
you
but
did do it on it quickly. Indeed, yeah, it's just the
missing
city
2 of those
getting in the way.
is a pretty big deal though, long term.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I just bumped a suggestion that I made back in September of maybe now that we have the custom overlay, we could have an unimproved resource filter, which that way, once you improve the resource, you don't see the label on your map because you don't care, right? It's just when you need to improve it. That might be helpful.
Yeah, that's I think the big deal, to be honest.
Interesting
Like
point.
if you click the improvement, it shows me garrisons and Shrine of Naboo and shit I don't care about. Now, if I could just see maybe lavender, probably
There is something in the custom overlays that says tile resources, but I'd love if it was
Yes.
like unimproved tile resources. Then that would be even better.
So the overlay customizer does give you a few more options than the default overlays, and of course you can combine them in different ways as well if you want to see extra things. But yeah, unimproved tile resources potentially another one that might be good.
Yeah, because I don't really care about game once I've improved it, right? And I personally will sometimes miss nets because it's very hard for me to tell whether a net is improved or not. Like I have to hover over and be like, is that net improved? So if the label went away when it was improved, that would be really nice. We'll just send that one over to Solver or whoever works on that. Yeah, I mean, I will say I was really scared when you had that zealot in the middle on your 6 strength.
I think I had an opportunity there. If we look at the power, we were even, and some of yours were tribals, and you literally, I think, at the time had 2 onagers, and one of them was you were like constructing a fort at the time, and I remember thinking about it. I had elephants, and I was like, I can go push that away, which will stop the fort. I can even kill the onager. It's like, sure, maybe I'm definitely going to lose the 2 elephants, but I remember thinking to myself, it's like 2 elephants for an onager. That feels like a good trade if it means we fight a battle where he doesn't have siege projection. But then the zealot died, man, and I got a hero next, so maybe I
also scary.
could have done something. Yeah, maybe I could have done something with a hero, but I chickened out. I'll be honest. I was just like, nah, because shit. Um, yeah, it's a bummer because I think that would have been the only opportunity I would have had to really win anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would have been an interesting fight. And of course you started building a fort behind the river there, and then had to abandon it a little bit later. It's a little bit unfortunate. Did you perhaps think about going elsewhere, going north to up to Sabrata, maybe, or Leptis even could have worked until I mean the tile buying there was definitely very helpful for Alcaraz's part. It was a good strategy to took away your river movement before those tiles were bought. You could have perhaps moved up that river fairly swiftly.
Yeah, that was very clever, and it was also very good on him to not take any bait around the worker building the fort, or even once the fort was up. The fort building on that river tile was certainly a moment for me that I think I should have just made a decision, regardless of the zealot or not, because that was, I'm pretty sure, right around the time that again he had maybe the two onagers, and was just starting to build his own forts. So I feel like what could have happened, and I had one onager at the time. So I think what could have happened was I could have initiated a fight, gotten an onager into that fort. And but the only thing I have an issue with, although I forget about this constantly, is that elephants don't need pole arms to block their zone of control.
Yes.
Um, but I was thinking, oh shit, I don't have pole arms to protect the onager, and that's another silly mistake that I made because you don't actually need those logistics. They can still panic you out of the way and get to the thing, so it's still trickier, but you can build a wall against elephants with fucking slingers. Sorry for swearing. With slingers if you want. And it's annoying to remember that, 10 turns later when you decide, when you make a strategic decision. Uh, so yeah, but I kudos to Alker for the tile buying. I like that. And also kudos to him for not deciding to take a peltast or whatever and move up and harass that worker, because he definitely could have made a kill or something, and maybe it would have started a fight that he didn't want to start. So the restraint there was nice. The caution there was nice. I don't think he was in a position where he needed to move. Um, I
Yeah, and
think,
just the fact that the onagers were hanging back, the extra onagers were unlimbering on hills further away. They weren't pushing forward. I commented on the stream that if it was me, I would definitely have been unlimbering those onagers further forwards and tried to harass your
yeah,
slinger that was in that fort and push forward. But Alcrest was like, no, I don't need to do this. I'm just going to defend. This is a great position for me.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to
So
deny
keep
the
it up.
fort. I think you started building the fort when I had like 2 or 3 turns left on my first onager.
yeah.
So I unlimbered it and started hitting that from pretty far back. But yeah, I did not want that fort going up because I was like, I cannot have a fort there. Like that literally cannot be the case. So I tile bought just to sort of deny the river as well as just get some more borders. So to force you inside my lands. If we did want to fight, like I would love to fight on that wide open plain surrounded by hills with my onagers and my elephants could feast there. So like, yes, please, let's fight right there by the salt and the marble. Like,
Did
be great.
you, I'm curious if you considered tile buying the fort because
I did. I
you
think it
bought
would have.
up to it not
I
beforehand.
thought about it. By the time like he pretty much like it looked like he retreated right after I did the first buys. So then I just didn't bother, and then he pillaged the fort. And like I could have, but like I would have like at that point I was within his onager fire, and like he could have easily come forward and killed workers. And I don't know that it would have really benefited me because I wasn't in a position where I was ready to push in.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
fair enough. You were
like
planning
I
so
only had 2 onagers, and it was like I'm not going to push with 2 onagers. And like he has a bunch of 6 strength units with the war elephants and his free UU and his horses, and he also has camel archers as well, right? Like, and I only had like 2 or 3 elephants, 6 strength ones at the time. So I was like, this can get very bad very quickly. So
Yeah, at the time, I think we were pretty evenly matched, and I forget what my civics was at the time, like my stockpile. I think I had enough for at least one
you had just
adventure.
gotten civics boost from when I remember from watching the cast. So you were like at 790 or something. So you probably
Yeah,
had 2 enlists in you. So
and that the other thing that sucked about the dynasty messing with me a little bit was because it's like, you know, I'm a very reactive player. That's one of the things about the chaos of the game that I don't mind. I like being, dealt a different hand than what you might expect and being like, okay, well then never mind, I'll pivot to this instead. And so, like, when the first ruler died, it's like, all right, well, the second ruler's a scholar, whatever. I can just keep moving as usual, stick with whatever plan I might have had, whether it was going well or not. But and then when the second ruler died, okay, that's a little frustrating. But now I have a zealot, so I'm looking at our power. We're similar. So I'm doing the classic read there, like, okay, we're similar, but half of his shit's probably tribals, which of course it wasn't. You didn't do a lot of tribal buying, but still, you had some tribals. So I'm like, all right, so I probably have some advantage there. I see some of his elephants, but I have the zealot. I can enlist. I was like, so I shifted all of my build queues. I started building more military units. I training rushed an elephant or two, at least one. And so with the zealot taking the throne, I kind of pivoted into this, screw it, I'll mid-game push him. I don't really have all the timing that I'd want, but with a zealot, we got this because,
Yeah, it's
lots of
very swingy.
conversations around zealot lately. Yeah, exactly. So, and then when that got set up, like literally I was maybe like a turn or two before feeling confident enough to actually pull the trigger on this. Certainly within like 3 to 5 turns. And I died. and I'll be honest,
He's like in his 40s or
yeah,
something.
he was yeah. Well, my first ruler was let's look at this. My first ruler was 46. My second ruler was 40, and my zealot was also 46.
Oof.
So everybody died.
Well
Nobody.
unlucky.
Yeah. So and normally, again, I'm pretty flexible, but by the time the zealot died, I just kind of had a like hands up in the air moment where I'm like, well, shit, because I had pivoted so hard into okay, now I'm gonna beat you up that I recognized that I was neglecting my economy and neglecting my development and things like that because I was planning to attack you, and then. And again, so maybe I should have just used the hero and just tried my luck then. But I got cold feet, didn't go for it, and then just kind of had well, now what the hell am I doing moment. And then pretty much my thinking was I'll get to Portcullis, I'll see if that can shoot me up in science, and it on the bright side it did, but then it also made me aware of how drastically different our games were, and I was like, shit, dude, this game is over, man. This is over. And I was gonna give myself, I kind of was trying to coach myself all week saying just do one more session, because I had a really good session against Aaron where I did something similar. In fact, I actually attacked him, but I failed. And then I spent an entire session doing eco recovery, and dude, my eco recovery was on fire. I came back full swinging. I still lost that match, but my recovery was amazing. So I was thinking, if I could do that this game, all right, maybe there's a shot. But I'll be honest, it didn't have it in me. I didn't have it in me to sit here watching your game state, which, who maybe you would have attacked once you finished your Jebel Barkle and got your, monotheism.
Another 7 order, another 14 orders. But there's no need for me to attack.
But I watch you play, and I've played you. I'm also so used to you sitting back and playing it safe, right? So it's like, dude, I don't want to sit here for 3 to 4 hours watching alcaras.
Intimidation.
Portcullis. So watching you sit on a winning hand and not playing it, I'm just like, dude. No,
well, I think I had a win path with Wonder Spam as well, right? Like so. That's the other. Yeah, it's not. It was not like I had 2 paths to victory: attack out, which is potentially risky, right? Potentially could go bad, or just sit back and like spam wonders to the moon, and then just force you to come into a really, really, really defensive position, right? Yeah. This map is really choke friendly, right? Like I walled off this volcano here. I can potentially like ring 15 onagers around this like nice little concave area by the river, and then I block with like 4 or 5 bireams, so it doesn't matter. Like there's no way you're getting in on the north. I do see that biream being built. I didn't have a scout agent on it, but I was very worried about bireams in the north, and was but I also have a pretty good internal road network. But yeah, I think my inclination, at least, I was salivating at when I crashed. I had just upgraded my turreted elephants, and then I was planning on getting like 2 or 3 more. And then I was really interested by your little horseman party down in the bottom here. You've got a horseman, a horse archer, and a camel archer in the southeast. And I was, as you see, I have a scout right next to it. And I was very suspicious about what this was. And I was like, uh-oh, what is he planning? Camel archers have insane movement, right? So you'll see I have a scout in the pass that I put there just as a, there is technically a pass that goes along the south. So like, I want vision of what's going on here. And like, if this scout dies, great, then I'll know something's coming. Yeah, talk to me about what you were thinking with this group here.
Very much the Camel Archer pass. Could have shot along there.
It's a bummer because I telegraphed that that the leader Camel, if he was up a couple of tiles, I think next to the directly next to the northern barley, right by that city site in those woods there, and standing from that tile, I had just cleared the site, and he was standing there for a couple of turns. And you never plug that hole by the volcano. From that tile, my ruler could reach your wonders with a force march. So really, and then the other thing was I had my scout that's now in that mountain pass was in the woods right outside Carthago. So in reality, I actually just telegraphed this play way more than necessary because I got this is going to be the dumbest thing, but even though my map actually explains this, for some reason I got it in my head that you wouldn't be able to see behind these mountains because of the mountains.
I definitely could see it, yeah. So...
No, I understand. Right, I understand that because by the time I saw the scout, I was like, "Oh, that's a little weird. Can he see this?" But then I looked over at my map and I'm like,
you can
"Wait,
see.
Of course
yeah.
you can see this. I can see this." But for some reason, I got it in my head for a second that mountains can block vision, and they don't. But anyway, it's a bummer that I telegraphed that so hard because really, I could have kept everybody back where they were and still would have made it. And I wouldn't have been able to afford stepping any military units on the tiles, but I would have been able to kill your workers and then popped both wonders with my scouts. I was literally just waiting. I have 2 more camel archers in the north. I was just waiting for them to be ready. Yeah, move them down. And that would have been that I really, really, really would have loved to have done that on camera.
Yeah, I mean, I was completely paranoid at that point, so like I had really good vision. I think I had pretty much agents in almost every city except for that Byreem city, actually. But I think I did have vision of the camel archers just from the agent having some borders. And like I was paranoid. Like I printed out an extra scout. I think even Fluffy or Filthy commented on the stream like, "Why is he building another scout in Carthago?" It's like I just need to know what's going on, right? I cannot have a situation like this scout was following the Southern Army around the entire time. And then I put the scout in the pass just as a like, if anything's coming through here, I want to know. I walled off the volcano. And yeah, I think my plan next was to pull a trader worker west and like build some roads from the volcano and bring some turreted elephants to play with this army because they would nom this army very quickly.
Well, you stay paranoid, but I guess you weren't
not paranoid.
Planning on camel archers coming to disrupt your wonders because no military unit protecting any of them there.
No, I definitely didn't anticipate the camel archer could reach, but I was just suspicious of what was going on here, and I was like, is he going to come through the south pass? I didn't realize he could reach the wonders with the force march for sure, so that would have been a nasty surprise. But I don't know that you would have been able to get more than 1 unit back there.
No, I would have. I had enough orders to get at least. I would have been able to kill at least 1 wonder. I just don't know. I was waiting to get the other 2 camel archers in position.
Yes, if you
total cost of the force march of all 4 of them because I just needed 2 units per wonder and then move the scout. So I'm not sure if I would have been able to get both of them, but I definitely would have been able to get one of them. And again, it wouldn't have amounted to much long term, but it would have been funny to do on camera. It would have made great for the highlight reel.
I mean, disrupting a wonder is a huge pain in the ass. So I don't think you would have been able to take the city. So
it would have you'd have taken at least 3 or 4 turns to get the resources back for one of those wonders.
Yeah. I mean, but in any case, I put the scout in as safety. I plugged the gap, so then I think the window was closing. I guess he could have killed the scout, but that would have taken at least 2 shots from a camel archer, which would have given me time to react, right? Because that means another turn. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, against a player like me, that's smart anyways, because I am the one idiot who would actually try
random shit like that.
Yeah, who would try to force an army through a 1-tile gap in the bottom of the map.
I mean, before double fatigue
was... you for building the extra scout.
Yeah, before double fatigue was a thing, I definitely had wonders canceled by Frederick, who like spent his entire order pool on force marching a couple cataphracts into my capital across the entire map. So I've been burned by it before, so it stings. And yeah, maybe should have put some militia on the wonder builders. A good use for
Definitely
militia.
infuriating when it happens.
Yes. Some more
So
questions.
you're
Or go ahead.
I was just going to talk about your science a little bit because you've got 250 science on turn 74. The museum isn't even built yet. That'd be another 27 science. So that seems like pretty solid science, right? You must be fairly happy with that, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually a big believer now in getting barracks and apprentice officers. They really help your production, and they also help your science. And it's really nice to just spam them. I think I heard in the cast like I should pick up drama somewhere for Carthage. I agree. It's just really hard to fit in drama, and like I find early drama has definitely led to losses for me. So maybe I just need to fit in drama later or something because picking it up too early and like trying to gamble off the free settler, I don't think is worth it. But I agree getting the Odeon early for some more specialists. I also had some fun with once I got poly. I think you'll notice I built all 4 shrines in my statesman seat, and also all 4 shrines are under construction in Carthago because I was going to go into at least apprentice acolytes for everything, and then potentially elders as well because they do give that order. But we would see how the thing is. And then I really enjoyed moving my judge around. I think I had my judge in my capital, and I bought all 3 gardeners with money, which was good. And then I upgraded
Nice.
to elder officers as well in Uduka, and also bought a gardener. So
Yeah,
taking advantage of that.
Gardener's so good as well, certainly.
Yeah, taking advantage of the gold income from the judge and just being able to, and also the fact I could move it around relatively freely, helped quite a
Honestly,
bit.
yeah, that's the best thing about a judge being on the throne is that you can put him in any city you want, regardless of family archetype, because obviously not every family has judges as a common archetype. So I think that's a great use of it, moving around to different sites and you know fulfilling all your goals in one city and then moving them along to a different city, fulfilling all your goals there, and just keep moving them around and you get maximum output while he's on the throne. So yeah, the fact that you did that, definitely good use of the mid-game judge power there. And of course, you were able to get your unique unit timing on point too. No delays there for building.
Yeah, no, I sent
Stronghold.
a lot of luxuries to my rider Kef because I was worried about that hitting
I
strong.
see that. I see that. Yeah, Fluffy, get a look at that if you haven't seen that already. But in his rider seat, there's 6 or 7 luxuries sent, and that's really good
It's nice.
micro there, to be honest, because culture is one of those things that can. You can get all your laws, you can get all the science and whatnot, and the next thing you know, you're 30 turns away from a strong city, so you still can't get your A strength unit. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'd say it's certainly pretty good. Make good use of those luxuries. I mean, I'd say that's definitely another good strong reason to pick up drama early because you really need that culture. And
Yeah,
that's
you
a
can
good
just
way to build it. But yeah, the luxuries did a job there certainly.
Yeah, no, I find usually drama I've gone back and forth on. It's just very hard to find the stone for the Odeon. It's very hard to find the tempo for the poets. Where luxuries are just 2 orders and then you're good after you've improved a luxury, which you probably want to do anyway. Other
Yeah,
questions that
I mean, and the specialists for all the to actually get the luxuries in the first place,
yes,
of course.
yes, of
It's
course,
not like
yeah.
they're free.
It's not
And
like
they're
they're
not
free.
necessarily the best specialists because they're only rules. They're not
Yeah,
urbans, but yeah,
yeah.
if you can do it, it works.
One question I think you denied Zoro, turn 21 Zoro, pretty early Zoro. I saw when I watched the cast that you double you took the free worker and then you double shrined in your capital and then had to wait a little bit to get the citizen. But yeah, I mean I ended up picking up husbandry even before it got denied, before Zoro got denied, just because I saw there were a lot of growth resources around, especially my statesman seat. And I always love growth in my statesman seat. So yeah, I picked it up, and then fortuitously, that let me easily transition to Judaism. I think I got a relatively early Judaism at turn 34, which isn't too bad. Like a turn 50 Judaism is much worse than a turn 34. And then
Sure.
yeah, and since I had a chancellor slot open, then Zenobia spawned with Lily Baum, and that went autonomous. And then I had an event to marry her, and she became a rising star, and she was my chancellor. At one point, she was giving me 6 growth in every city,
Ooh.
which was
That's
insane.
the jackpot. That's the jackpot.
Yeah.
Zenobia, the Chancellor, is amazing.
Yeah, this is why I like turning BTT off, but you were like, I want to play with Behind the Throne. I was like, okay, but I guess means I can abuse Zenobia. So
Well, I was hoping for Zenobia at the Chancellor, obviously.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No,
Did you get Zenobia as well, Scientific? I thought you both had her.
you did get Zenobia, and I remember watching the stream. So
yeah.
because your
Okay,
Eridu, I think, went autonomous as well, if I remember
I
right.
think I actually did. I think I did put her as Chancellor at some point. I can't remember if she became a Rising Star or not, though.
Yeah, Rising Star seems like it's just RNG XP. I'm not entirely sure how it triggers. I
Yeah,
appreciate your
Alcaras definitely got a much better use out of Zenobia. It wasn't even just not even just the growth; it was this huge amount of yield she was bringing in
Yeah.
for training and civics and
Yeah,
everything.
she was plus 200 opinion as well, so it was just like we're fully cooking at this point. Really appreciated your starting leader name, Douglas. That was pretty good. Appreciated that.
Talk about a backfire, though, but that was funny.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
he did show up in the game, though.
I saw
I
that,
have
yeah,
him.
in the cast, yeah.
Yeah. So that's
You
fun.
didn't choose to duel him for some reason, so.
I almost did. At that point, I was like, you know what? Should I do it just because it would be funny? And then it watched me die again.
You're like, I don't need a 7th leader, so.
I was like, I almost did just for the hilarity of it, and also, oh wait, no, he wouldn't have taken the throne, but I thought it would be cool to figure out a way for him to get on the throne somehow. But yeah, no, but I did take him at the court here because it was cool to have a bunch of him in the nation. I had my first heir, and then my second heir was obviously named Dagilus II. And nope, I was trying to tease you a little bit, and it backfired.
I mean, he does have die in the name, so Douglas he did his part. He died early. I guess a couple more questions that I have. Early game, again, watching the cast, obviously didn't see this during the game, but you split your slingers. Like you had one slinger in the north, and we're doing some really interesting worker micro, and then you had another slinger in the east clearing. What was the thinking behind splitting those slingers as opposed to, like, I'm a big believer in like concentrating forces early, and I think I marched my slinger from one side of the map to the other just to like be able to have it together. Tell me more.
So I'm not 100% sure if that was the best idea, but basically my thinking was, I can't remember if I was aware of this postal path yet or not. But basically my thinking was it was an order thing really, which I mean, we'd have to like go over with a fine-tooth comb to find out if the worker micro ended up wasting more orders than splitting them did, and the extra tax or whatever. But my thinking was this mountain pass all the way up towards Eridu is so mountainous, basically, that I didn't want to build a second slinger and send him all the way north to have them have to come all the way back down, because unlike you over there, I didn't have a million orders coming at me all game.
Yeah.
So my thinking in the moment to why I made the decision was the Sentinel Slinger was close enough to a border and in forest that he could clear the camp of Lhasa by himself. And the Slinger up top, I can't remember if my Scout was in the region. I think originally I was planning on using the Scout to do interesting stuff, but then I ended up using the Worker instead. But then that was my thinking. I could use a civilian to get involved in the combat and clear the camp up north with somebody. But I think that was another situation where I actually might have missed a turn of spending the order to take a hit on something. So I actually took like one turn longer and then spiraled than it should have, because that's the other thing about network play. Obviously, with no undo, sometimes like you get tunnel vision, you're going to make these 3 decisions, and then you realize, oh shit, I have to go do this thing too, and you already have like no orders to do it. Which is another thing that makes the schemer so amazing, because even if you aren't buying them every single turn like a madman, it's perfect. It's probably the best ability for network dueling in particular, because if you forget about something, you'll always be able to do it if you really need to do that thing, because you can just buy 10 extra orders. And that's a huge deal, because we all do it. I forget about shit. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh shit, all I need is one order to make an attack against this thing, and I don't have it. I would literally, in a situation like that, I would still spend the legitimacy on 10 orders, even if I was going to waste 9 of them if the decision was that important.
Yeah, makes sense. A couple more questions. I think your last leader, you had the choice of, if I remember right from, again, watching the cast, since I had no idea about this in the game, just Orator, Zealot, and Tactician. And I was really surprised to see you went for Orator and not Zealot. Walk me through.
Yeah, I think I sat on that for a little bit. In hindsight, for the memes, I should have went Tactician, just because I absolutely would have been able to destroy your wonder if all of my camels were invisible in these woods. You wouldn't have seen them coming. That would have been amazing. Now, aside from that, yes, obviously Zealot was a big grab, but again, there's maybe some arrogance or hubris to this, but it really isn't that. I get frustrated by like those obvious plays. Well, obviously I'm going to pick a Zealot, obviously, and I know it's a competition, and it's a tournament and all that, but like it's kind of lame that it's like so many starts. It's like, oh, clearly I'm going to pick a schemer because it's the best. Clearly I'm going to go into a Zealot
Yeah.
because it's the best. But it wasn't just that. I really sat on that for a while because I'm like, oh man, if I am going to fight him, if we are going to battle, the Zealot's the only way I'm winning this, right? But the orator choice came down to the eco recovery mindset. It was like thinking, well, all right, no, if I'm going to sit back for the next 2 hours and actually recover my economy and get my economy back online, if you look at my political situation, my opinion's fantastic, right? So I'm getting an extra 6 orders per turn from an
Yeah.
orator. And that was the thing. That's why I ultimately leaned on orator, because I was like, it was basically a toss up of what my game plan was. If I was fighting you, obviously Zealot. But I was thinking, okay, if this is actually going to be a longer game and I have to play another 3 or 4 hours, another 30, 40
Yeah.
turns, I need my economy online. And what do I need to do that? I need orders. And
Yeah.
the orator felt like a real gift in that moment, because I was basically looking at an extra 8 orders per turn, like almost instantly.
Yeah.
And that
Makes
just
sense.
seemed the out, because I still all I need to do is convert my sages and then also be friendly with me. So
Yeah, I think you made the Sages
that's the way
furious
to
at
go.
one point as well. This was the micro that you were complaining that you had fucked up or
On
something
purpose.
for an
Yeah,
ambition.
yeah, I got the insane ambition to either lose a city or the other one is make a
I
family
offered to
third.
help with the Lose the City one.
Yeah. But it's what I had done. What I opted to do was up in the border of Iridu and Uruk, I just sold a bunch of tiles from one family to the other, because you only need to sell something like 4 or 5 tiles to tank an opinion, like
Yeah.
200. And since you do it all on the same turn, it decays relatively quickly. So that was my thing. But what ended up happening was I'd move a unit and I'd buy the tile backwards to the wrong family.
Oh, no.
So, and I ended up doing that like 3 times. So let's see here.
Yikes! I missed that on the stream. Yeah, I hadn't I saw what you were doing, but I hadn't realised you'd made the mistake in it.
Yeah. So I only needed to buy something like 4 tiles from one family to the other family. And I ended up buying in total something like 8, because I bought 3 tiles, and then it kept missing clicking the wrong family every time I brought a new unit up to buy the last one. So what I did was, like, I clicked the wrong family, brought somebody up, clicked the right family, then brought somebody up, picked the wrong family again, and was like, shit! So I had to buy another 2 tiles. And at that point, I was
Super
so
painful.
committed
Yeah,
that
that's unfortunate.
I ended up selling like 100 food to make this happen too. That's part of the reason. Like, I just did this a turn or 2 ago, so that's part of the reason why I have like no resources in my account. And at
Oh,
that
because
point,
you
I was
needed the
like,
money
"This
for
is
buying the tiles. Oh, man. So,
yeah. It was so dumb. It was the dumbest thing. I wish I would have recorded it. It would have been so great to put up at some kind of highlight reel of just absolute nonsense play. But
Yeah.
hey, I got the
Yeah.
ambition. I got the 10 orders,
Hey,
the
ambition.
extra order per turn, and
Ambition
Yeah,
for days.
it's definitely funny to see. Yeah, we were wondering, because we couldn't figure out what the mistake was. We were wondering if you were trying to buy up to the coast so you could start making bioreams in Uruk, maybe. But
Oh yeah, that would have made sense. But no, I was just being an idiot and trying to micro an ambition. And I mean, in fairness, had I done it in just the 4 tile buys, that would have
Yeah, it
actually
would've
been
been
pretty
fun.
efficient.
Yeah.
But then it was like a sunk cost fallacy thing where it's like I just kept doing it after messing it up, and I think after messing it up, I should have just abandoned the idea, or maybe tried it again in a couple more turns or whatever. But yeah, I basically wasted an entire turn trying to get that ambition and a bunch of money and resources. In hindsight, like in general, though, if you can do it in a couple of quick tile buys, it's not the worst idea.
No,
My
that's pretty
Sage's
clever.
ambition, yeah, my Sage's ambition opinion wasn't great to begin with. I only had the 2 cities. Like I don't think I would have hurt too much. But yeah, I went a little bit overboard with it, and it was funny.
Last couple of points I want to make, and then of course happy to open up questions from the chat. I had that opulence ambition, which I took 9 turns building an opulence in my capital. I think it was I probably should have just eaten the legitimacy loss, honestly, instead of finishing the legacy. I don't
Yeah, I
remember the
noticed.
event. I had some event that it was like opulence or something really bad, and I took the ambition. But like, yeah,
Yeah, it was quite early as well, wasn't it? I don't
yes, it
recall
was
what
very
turn
early. It was
but
like turn
it's,
40 or 50 or something.
yeah,
It was
painful to
pretty
lose 9
ugly.
turns of a city queue at that point.
And then I guess a question from class. Yeah, I think that was definitely a mistake, and I think also not prioritizing museum earlier. I think Fluffy and Filthy all were commenting that like he hit strong, and then he's like not banking for this wonder, and it just never crossed my mind because I was like so focused on eco and like getting everything up and running. I did manage to get museum later, but like got lucky that Cyan had no economy to take museum. So
Yeah. Had I played a stronger game, you probably would have had stiffer competition on that front, for sure. Because
yeah,
I've had plenty of games in multiplayer, in particular, where it's like by the end of the game, I have 10 of the 13 wonders. So yeah, I think if
yeah.
I
No,
were on my game,
my cloud duel right now is actually against Fluff. One of my cloud duels is against Fluffy as Babylon, and he had to turn 42, started a Coliseum because he got legendary from a
yeah.
from the
So I mean,
Colossus
there you go.
event, and like he has museum. It does not look pretty right now at all.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong bit of luck that getting that very
Yeah.
early legendary.
And I am curious in that duel, Alcars, are you playing Carthage?
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Why would you play anything else?
Well, yeah, there you go.
Bex is
everyone
in the
knows
chat. Bex is in the chat commenting quite a long time ago now, but apparently the only non-champs nation that has beaten Carthage is Persia, both by Purple Goomers and by Siontific.
Hey, nice. Good job, us. Yeah, I honestly, even seeing the pasture here, I just the one in the capital. I thought about bringing in Persia again. I also thought about doing the orator trick again, but I didn't think that was going to be a good idea against your schemer.
Yeah.
So because I know that you play a crazy science game. Marauder and I was able to keep up with him. And who's to say maybe I wouldn't have been able to keep up with you too, but I just didn't want to risk that. That seemed too risky.
Yeah.
After seeing the city, after seeing Uruk, I kind of was kicking myself in the foot for not bringing in Persia because I think Persia would have been great on this map.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't go Hati either. Given how much you love Hati as well.
Yeah, I went there with this,
especially with the 3 wine or something early. Like that just feels like a landowner capital. Hati.
Yeah. There was this thing where I don't know why, but early on in the tournament, I kind of got it in my head where I was going to save them for last, basically, just kind of see as far as I could get. Obviously we're all trying to win, we're all trying to get the championship, and my thing was like, I think lots of people know me as not lots of people, but some of the people who play with me or hear me talk about the game know how much I love the Hittites, know how fantastic I think they was. So I think it's another one of those things, personality type wise, where I think it would have been obvious for me to just play the Hittites constantly, nonstop, regardless of map, because I really think they're that amazing and that flexible. But I kind of ended up going the opposite route and said, you know what? No, I'm going to have, like, if I can make it the full way to the finals, I want to have that be the game where everyone's like, oh, hey, Sion's playing the Hittites finally. And, take them for a spin. And so I basically spent most matches like the Persian orator with Marauder. I spent most games thinking like, well, what can I do that is interesting? And I guess Scholar Babylon isn't necessarily all that interesting. But I had a couple of other ideas like Hero Axum and what's another one that I was working on? Oh, a Kushite orator. I've done the Persian orator. I thought about doing a Kushite
Yeah, because you
orator.
can
That
get
was
it back
fun.
with the
Exactly.
with your pyramids. So
Yeah, the Kushite orators and schemers both work well because the pyramids pay your legitimacy back. Yeah, 100% right on that. And they have landowners, which I like. They have traders, which is good. They have artisans, which I like. They have hunters, which are good. So they have great family selections. And they start with stone cutting, which is always fantastic.
yeah,
And
no,
divination.
I like Kush a lot. So
Yeah, so I was very, very close to bringing Kush into this game against you two, especially thinking about the Zorro play. But Babylon is a nation that I like, and I've been pretty flexible with them. I won a game with them in the tournament already.
their early
I think
growth is pretty strong, and their early science
yeah.
boost is pretty
Well,
strong.
that's the
They
other
can
thing.
definitely
Like
run away.
yeah, getting freedom early is talked about as a strong thing, and Babylon doesn't need it. You can
They
get
start with
freedom
freedom.
too,
Yeah.
but they start with freedom basically. So yeah, there was a lot of strong things that were pushing me towards Babylon, and
I like Babylon. I've had some great games with Babylon in practice and just in clouds, but they are incredibly order tight. I almost want to go Schemer Babylon instead of Scholar Babylon because you need something for the early
yeah.
game because you're so choked on orders.
Yeah, and I didn't get navigation until turn 47. That was probably a mistake. I did a straight beeline pretty much to land consolidation, which, I mean, worked out in some sense, except
Except for
the fact that I
improving the
didn't
lavender.
Yeah, but in hindsight, I think it was actually around the time I had land consolidation. That's turn 33, and then like it's a waste. Labor force isn't even until 45, so yeah, somewhere by around turn 40, I'm like, hey, you know what I'm missing? Freaking orders. Also, I have a really bad habit. Sometimes I do fine, but in other network games, because again, you can get tunnel vision, of getting halfway through the game, and I'll give people shit for this when I'm commentating. So, just for those watching, we all do this type of stuff. We all make mistakes. We all literally just plumb forget stuff all the time. But one of my things is I can go too long before I remember that shit. You actually need to start putting garrisons down, buddy, and all that type of stuff adds up.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
And
I now with a lower garrison stone cost, I've definitely started using. I just think of them as like order shrines basically, and put them everywhere that I can. I think I have garrisons down in every city at this point.
And that's what makes barracks such a strong opener because it gets you military
extra
output,
order too.
It gets you science, and it also brings you order economy. It's everything you could ever need in this type of format, the head-to-head format of like dueling and stuff. Because if someone comes at you, even if you don't have an army, you'll be able to get one soon because you already have the garrison.
Yeah, you're not doing a 10-year build; you're doing a 6-year build, which is a big difference.
Exactly. So I agree. It's hard. It's kind of hard, in my opinion, to not go.
Yeah, this would be an interesting
first, pretty much all the time.
This would be an interesting stat, Becht. Mill drill was researched, and win probability. Like, does whoever researches mill drill first wins, or like, is there a correlation between researching mill drill earlier?
Yeah, that was another one that I didn't get early. Earlier. It was very late here, and I thought I was thinking about that. I'm like, shit, I'm building barracks while he already has officers, and that's the math. For those watching, that's the math that you want to think about. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be building garrisons while your opponent barracks. Not even only already has barracks, but they already have officers in those barracks. So that timing can be pretty crucial, and I definitely messed that up in this game.
Yeah, last couple
I didn't
things.
play a strong game. Honestly, there's no real way around saying it. I think I can play a strong game. I definitely think people probably think I'm better at this game than I actually am with all the conversation and hype that gets built up. And that probably comes from critiquing and commentating. But this just was not at all or not even remotely close to one of my best games. It was a pretty poor showing, unfortunately. But, I mean, that's what it is. Here we are. It happens.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some luck as well with leaders and just early terrain, right?
Sure.
Very hilly, etc. Like just pretty brutal. I think you even got a little unlucky because you got another spawn from the north because I managed to clear that because I got steadfast and moved north, and you just were like an order or two short of getting there in time. So you had to deal with another unit spawning, which slows you down a lot. All those little things add up. And of course, Babylon versus Carthage. I honestly had probably one of my better games. Everything was super smooth. Everything went right. I
Yeah, it
had
looks
a
like everything went right for you, which is
yeah
nice because in your game against Nazar, you had
yeah
really shit luck too.
yeah
So I
um,
have no problem with luck playing a role. Luck plays a
yeah
factor, and but that's why it's like also even with the death, like the dynasty death, it's like maybe if I was more on point with my game, making better decisions, I could have overcome that. But by the time the third or fourth ruler came around, I was just so in a position of like looking at my board state and being like, oh man, I'm not in a position to deal with another ruler loss. And then that translates to orders too, because
yep
I'm pretty sure you're like
legitimacy
up.
yeah
Yeah, you have like an extra 50 or 60 legitimacy on me. So
just
that's
five
another
orders
5 or 6
yeah
orders it's crazy, man. I was just
yeah
like,
I've
there's
got
no way.
44 more legitimacy than you right now, so that's 4 extra orders.
Yeah, on
Last couple of
top of
things here.
on top of riders. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
last couple of things here. Wine or vinegar was the event that I got that got me Opulence Project. So I had the choice of taking this wine resource, which I did improve, even though it went under the city nameplate, and I agree it is hard to see, but I usually play with the overlay so I can see the label. Get a wine resource and take the build an Opulence Project ambition. Or the other option was to make Zenobia disappointed, which I did not want to do because that can spiral very badly as a rising star. I don't quite know the event chains, but unhappy rising stars do not end well. And then Lilybomb would have gained austerity, which would have been plus 25% training, which sucks because it's an autonomous city, so it can't do anything in the training, plus 50 maintenance, and plus 50% discontent. So I was like, I think I have to take it. But I think I should have just taken it and eaten the legitimacy loss instead of spending nine years on my capital build queue building it and 500 gold and 100 civics.
Yeah, I think I agree with that analysis. That austerity sucks, and you didn't want to disappoint us. Maybe it makes total sense.
Yeah,
But
had to take the ambition, but didn't need to fulfill it, especially since it became a legacy as well at that point. So it was like whatever.
just toss it immediately.
Last question before we go to, I guess, any other questions you have, Fluffy, and of course questions from the chat. I think Class had a question around why neither of us rushed the middle city sites. We kind of got our 7, and then everyone took a breather, focused on eco, moving troops up around, and finally I think like 10 or 15 turns passed before Saihan. You kind of conveniently wandered up just as the Thracians decided to invade me. I think I had an event there that I took an invasion instead of, because I assumed it would give me 10 legitimacy, but it didn't. So I probably shouldn't have taken that invasion event because I just assumed invasions get legitimacy, but this one didn't. But yeah, that conveniently moved off the site for you. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's what honestly made me take the site. Because I can tell, you can tell when they're organized tribal units. So they started moving. I saw they were organized, and I was like, cool. And like a turn or two, they're going to be away from there, and I just have a free city, so why not? So yeah, I took the site because they invaded you, and that was convenient. I already gave him my answer of why I didn't go to the center. I didn't want to deal with your 6 strength units right away. Although I'm sure I probably could have managed with Sentinel Slingers, but I decided I was comfortable with distance between me and you. I didn't play a game that matched up against the level of comfort that I had with you, but we've played games, we've gone toe to toe before, and I've played against other people where it's like I get super strong ecos. So it's again, I know the eco game, and yeah, I didn't. The other thing is the orders too. It's like, so I know I'm behind on orders. I didn't want to put myself into a position where I started skirmishing with you, where we're both burning 5 or 15 orders a turn. But Alcaras has an extra 5 to 10 orders to spend on his economy, while Siontific doesn't. So
yeah,
that's why I stayed away from you. But why did you stay away from me?
I didn't have Swift, so moving all my tribal units was a giant pain. The middle is also very exposed, and I obviously was following your army around with my scout, so I saw you had your 6 strength unit and you have a bunch of slingers, so there's no cover for, it's like pretty much like you're going to be doing full damage in the middle with that. And like I don't know that I could have held that central city site. Like I could have, I guess, built a road, and like I was thinking about it, then the invasion happened, then you moved in. Like I was probably going to take it like 2 or 3 or 5 more turns after you attacked, but like at the time, like I was like, it's going to take a long time for that city to become worth it. It's probably not going to become worth it ever because it's always going to be under pressure. It has some great resources, absolutely, like that ore and the marble and the salt and the sheep, but it's going to take some time. Realistically, like you need to take the South City as well, and then you need to like wall your opponent in on the chokes, right? With the volcano and the sort of pass by the Sagarius River. And that, like, I feel like I was like, I'm going to need onagers for that to like be able to reliably do that. Otherwise, it's just going to be skirmishing against your 6 strength. I was honestly scared of the 6 strength, and I think you had a zealot at the time. So I was like, I don't want to attack into a zealot. That just seems like a great way to give my opponent an elephant. So.
Yeah. Also, I mean, in fairness, these 2 city sites are pretty far away.
Yeah.
So taking them not just taking them and settling them, but also taking them with a force that is you feel comfortable enough that you're not going to just immediately hand the site over to your opponent, is an order investment. So that's the other thing. It's like on my end, this is the frustrating thing about going up against a statesman nation in general, but also Persia and Carthage, who also have riders. You can automatically bank on the fact, regardless of archetype, regardless of anything else, that they have an extra 4 orders per turn over you. They basically start with serfdom.
Yeah.
And it's hard not, in my mind, in a dueling context where everything is so much about keeping pace with your opponent, it's hard not to have that kind of slowly sitting in the back of my mind, haunting me, being like, Alcaraz has 3 more orders than I do. Now he has 5 more orders than I do. Now, so it's like, what am I spending my orders on? How am I being efficient? And again, I didn't play the most efficient game, but I've talked about how, I'll move 1 tile and improve a quarry rather than moving 3 tiles and improve a quarry.
Yeah. Those things add up.
Yeah. So I'm like extra in tune to that when I'm facing an opponent, depending on what they pick, because if it's Persia, for example, they have 1,000,000 orders. So every loss of efficiency on your end is actually felt, it hits even harder because your opponent can make the exact same number and the exact same level of mistakes as you, but it doesn't matter because they have twice as many orders.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think orders from schemer buys show up on the orders graph. Fluffy, keep me honest there. But I bought 80 orders from schemers, and then the difference looks like 650 otherwise. So like total difference was 730 orders on 50. Like I basically got plus 50% orders compared to you spent 1,500, I spent 22 something hundred. So
just to jump in and answer that question, they do now show in the totals. So since the last update,
they show in the total, but not in the graph. Okay.
How all the productions are recorded, yeah. So they don't show in the graph because the graph is just showing per turn income, but the what's and in fact, yes, the total doesn't match the area under the graph anymore because they're now recording different things. So the line is just showing per turn, whereas the totals is the yield from any source. So that will include scheme orders.
Oh, cool. All right, but even still, if we look at that difference, 600, like even if Alcaraz was playing like absolute shit, right? That's like that's 600 extra orders where he can make misclicks, he can make mistakes, he can move up 1 space and then come back to do something different. Like, so that's the other thing I think about when it comes to orders. It's like it's also a landscape of how inefficient you're allowed to be, let alone not even just how efficient you're able to be.
Yeah. I see Beck gave us some stats that Mildrill actually, not researching it, has the highest win rate, 75%. Some fun stats there in the Tournament Match Stats channel, and like researching it in the mid game is actually 40% win rate. So yeah, obviously very small sample size, but definitely counterintuitive. Would not have expected never researching Mildrill to have a 75% win rate, but maybe those are games where someone's just rushing someone, or like there's no time for Mildrill at that point.
That sounds like a scientific strategy. Actually, I'm pretty sure Fluffy Buddy, one of his games, he didn't research military drill until like turn 70. And
I think Beck pointed out. I think I had the record for the latest research in military drill. I did get it in like turn 80 or something.
Yeah.
I personally like it early. I got it on turn 15 here. So like it.
Well, that's another thing I was keeping. So the fun thing about this, the tournament that we're doing, everybody, and the stat tracking, all that, is I hadn't been doing this, but then Klaus was talking about it. The fact that you can research your opponent. So it was actually really cool to do open like 3 tabs, boot up all of the Alcaraz games, and look at, what are his habits? And yeah, you get military drill within like the first 15 to 8 turns every single game, right? And so those were things I was thinking about. And that's actually what led me to the Zorro play, because I also compared other Carthage players. It's like every single Carthage player
you get Zorro.
always found Zorro. So I'm just like, oh man, I did that. I was thinking about that with Marauder as well. So will that disrupt a Carthage player? If you and if so, by how much, right? Now, obviously, in this game, it didn't phase Alcaraz at all.
I mean, having to build those ranchers sucked, right? Like, I think you got Zorro when I had just finished my first Acolyte, and I was like, welp. But I mean, I think as Filthy commented, like, it's not like an Acolyte in your capital is bad.
Yeah. Right, you still get the science, of course, but we also talk about the events. So you get that really.
Yes, you got the nice Cartier event and the Found Religion ambition as well, which all very nice. So
right, and he's another great character. So yeah.
Speaking of theologies, Veneration. What was that? Just an event that you got it for free, or like
that was free. That was free.
Yeah, I got legalism for free from an event, but I would happily take legalism. But yeah, Veneration, I was just like, that's interesting. I don't know that I would take Veneration for free.
Just talking about Cartier, that's just jumping in. My favorite thing is in an old world duel is when your opponent found Zoroastrianism
and you get Cartier.
It spreads to you via an event, and then you get Cartier. Yeah, which I think actually happened in one of our duels.
Yes.
And why bother? Why bother going to the effort of funding it yourself when you can just get a free spread?
Yeah. Cool. Any questions that you have, Fluffy, or any questions for folks in the chat?
I don't think there's anything else I have to cover. I think you guys have talked quite a lot about the game. So there's I'm not sure there's any questions from the chat either. Sulfur says, I love the fact you've been chatting for an hour, and Alcaraz would definitely need less than that to kill Sion if he actually attacked. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think while Alcaraz has a good military advantage here, then I think I can see Sion putting up a good defense. I don't think it would be a walkover if Alcaraz attacked at this point. I mean, to be fair, if you did want to go all in, then eventually I'm sure you would wear Sion down. But
yeah, I think my timing here that I was thinking was Orthodoxy rush out 4 more elephants or so, get the Zealot on the throne when the judge dies, right? The Zealot will naturally go on the throne, and then make sure family opinion is good, and then go and then enlist any 6 strength or 8 strength units he has. And but I was really tempted to snatch this bottom this. I probably would have moved my elephants over a little bit and then see if I could have like attacked, but you would have seen it since you had pretty good vision, so you probably would have retreated them. Or so go ahead, Simon.
And this is the thing, and this is why I surrendered. And I'd like to think that it's not like a poor sport thing, but because with portcullis and my experience in the game, I can read the situation well enough where it's like, even if Alcaraz attacked me now or in the next 5 turns or whatever, and let's say I pretty much obliterated him, like I won the battle definitively and his offensive failed. The issue is with the game states we both have, I still very likely would not have won the game.
Yeah, I mean, I just print another army, and then you have the same problem.
Exactly. Because, like he's saying, he's about to get Orthodoxy, so it's like, okay, if nothing else, he gets beaten back. Let's say I just wipe the floor with him tactically or whatever, which again I don't think would happen. But even if I won the battle, okay, so he licks his wounds for another 5, 10, 20 turns while I'm getting ready to invade and attack him, and I'm just met with another army. So like our economies are not in positions where me winning a battle does anything for me, which is part of the reason why I decided that this game is legitimately over. Like the chances of me winning this game, even from sitting back and developing, if Alcaraz didn't attack me, that's the other universe that we would explore. If Alcaraz leaves me alone for 4 hours, or what happens there? Okay, I recover my economy, I get tech parity, I get ballistas, my whatever else, right? Well, he's been building wonders the entire time, so it's just like his Blage game where the impetus is on me to invade him, and it's the same thing. It's like, maybe I can win that battle, but we're talking like I had, if that, I had like a 10% chance of winning this game, given the state that it's in.
Yeah,
That,
nine to seven
that's like my
cities is
mathematical analysis of where we are right now.
yeah, not
Maybe it's
nine.
wrong, but like this just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, 9 to 7 cities is not a decisive lead, and
Yeah.
yeah, and like my position is very defensible here, and I also like
It's the
I'm at
economy more than anything.
the
Like,
economy is huge as
well,
well, and then like also
Yeah.
7 laws earlier is a big problem for you because you don't really have a great answer for an 8 strength elephant coming and saying hello.
and it's like what I say all the time about overdevelopment. Like Alcaraz, for those watching, Alcaraz could spend the rest of the game and never build another improvement, and I'm still going to spend 20 or 30 turns catching up to him. But that's the thing. It's like his economy is fully operational. Like that's the other thing people don't realize about Portcullis too, right? It's like, yeah, we can talk about his science rate, but I can actually go around to every one of his cities, and I have and with the little calculator or just do mental math, I can see that Alcaraz is making 150 stone per turn or more. I can see that. I have that information because all the yield totals are listed in your city too. I can see that how much money he's making from his trader's seat or things like that. So it's like I have all the information I need to know to of course, sometimes that can backfire. Sometimes you can think, oh, there's no way I'm going to win when it's like maybe you do have
Yeah.
a chance. But I don't think this is one of those games where it's like I'm giving up a possibility here. I think this game is squarely in his hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think to be fair, I think you've called it correctly. I think if Alcaraz went in and had a fight right now, then yeah, I'd say he definitely got a good advantage. But as you say, even if you won that fight, doesn't win you the game, and yeah, I don't really see a path where you could have won. So I think that's fair. Like just as you say, looking at Alcaraz's resource economy, if he grabbed architecture, then I suspect he could probably build all the another 8 wonders just immediately to spend all his cash whacking them down, and it's very much just a waiting the turn timer down until he wins on points. So I think that's fair, and it was a good game. You tried your best, but it didn't quite work out. But it was good to see, and I think we're probably wanting to wrap this stream up now because we've
been talking for like an hour.
Hour and 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun though.
Right, well,
enjoy the post. We gave the game the closure it deserved. So
yeah. It was
well,
a good
if you
game.
tuned in, I appreciate it. I know this was a talking session, but thanks for watching and thanks for listening. And Alcaraz, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Good luck moving forward, and hope you got a lot of tough opponents ahead of you. So
one at a time.
Really interesting watching it.
One at a time.
Yes, and we've got a Alcaraz versus Arrow match coming up tomorrow at the same time, and that should be an interesting game to watch. Both players love Carthage, of course, so we'll see how that plays out. I assume at least one of you is going to pick Carthage. So
yeah, I mean, I have the choice of map or nation pick, and I think I'm going to go map pick just because I don't want to have a knife fight. So that means I might not be able to get Carthage. We'll see. So
yeah, it would be interesting to see. All right, well, I'd just like to say before we wrap up here that as the two driving forces behind this community tournament, obviously Alcaraz, it was your idea. You did an awful lot of the organisation for it. Siontific has just put in so much energy into this tournament, so much casting, that amazing trailer that was made for it, and just huge props to both of you for all of the time and effort that you guys have put into this. It's been absolutely great to see everyone getting involved, huge amount of activity, people watching, playing, practicing, generally talking strategy has just been fantastic. So yeah, huge props to you both, and good luck in the rest of the tournament, Alcaraz, and I hope we see a lot more Siontific casting of the rest of the matches.
Thank you.
Yep, I might be out of the tournament, but I'm not out of the fun yet. You guys are stuck with me, and I'm very much looking forward to watching some of the remainder of the matches and seeing who goes up against Klaus in the finals.
All right, well, thank you both very much, and we'll end it there. So there is a part 3, I think, of Ninja versus Nazar a little bit later on today, which is Sion. Are you casting that one?
I'm not signed up for it, and I wasn't planning on it. But if we need a caster, I might step in for it. But I was actually
We
gonna plan on taking a break for the day.
we
I am
don't
casting tomorrow, though.
we do not have a caster lined up. Sino has volunteered to cast it, but it's super late for him. He's as a backup caster, so if you do want to cover it, I think he'd appreciate because I think it starts at 11 p.m. his time for Sino. So
All right, then odds are I'll probably step in. I'm gonna take a break for a second
Okay.
after this and get my day sorted.
I
out,
will
but,
pencil you in. So
I will likely. If we don't have a caster, then I'm probably just gonna do it then. But I wasn't
Good
planning
man,
on doing it.
Siontific.
But so it'll probably be me.
Amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so yeah, we'll see hopefully everyone back there for that, and then yeah, same time again tomorrow for Alcaras versus Arrow, and that will be definitely an interesting match to watch. But thank you everyone for watching, and until next time,